Welcome back to the Nic and Randy Show.
Hey,
It's actually the Randy and Nic Show.
we made it to a second episode. How
This
about
is
that?
dangerous stuff.
What about that?
Just dangerous. I mean, first off, we're both unemployed.
As of today,
Congratulations.
congratulations.
We
did it.
living the dream.
I,
Maybe.
maybe. So we're even doing this as a very improv. Because one thing, I'm going to address the camera just once really quickly, and then we're going to go.
Okay.
One thing that the point of this show is to be genuine, spontaneous, and share our thoughts, what's going on in our minds, so to say, and especially from the perspective of two guys who just went indie, and this is capturing live moments, and we just wrapped up the Talos of podcasts right now with Evie and Tech, and Nick and I are just kind of having a moment to breathe and start talking, and we said something that's like, hold on, let's just start recording this. So here we are, and with that, hey buddy, we're gonna be
Hey,
more.
Randy.
It's definitely gonna be a more genuine conversation, and not that nothing was scripted on the first episode, but now it's just like, because we're deep in our thoughts right now with it. I just wanted to capture this moment and how we feel, and realize that this is it. This is weird.
We made our bets. Now we have to lay in our beds.
What did you say? What did you say, or what did I say that made us?
Well,
want to
yeah,
start recording?
I think I should back up and give a little bit of context. So we just both went indie, right? And I was going through some of the initial reasons why I like. What was the moment that was the linchpin moment? And I had a big fancy word last time I said this a few minutes ago. But there was a distinct moment in my mind, which was kind of where I was like, okay, I need to reprioritize my life a little bit. It was when I was making the iPhone 12 mini thumb here to here to here to here ad. I had a really stressful day at work. I was, I don't know how many hours I'd put in, but it was like 8:30 or, after 8. And all day I had been thinking about this iPhone 12 mini thumb ad that I wanted to make. And it was just burning within me all day. And I was watching the original Apple ad, kind of over and over and over throughout the day, getting the pacing right from here to here to here to here. And I had already envisioned exactly how I was going to set up my lights, and I have some white poster board that I was going to use to make this infinity background. And I had it all planned out in my head, but I was still sitting there typing on the keyboard. And I was like, man, is this work really important? I mean, in the moment it feels so important, but it isn't. And because it's not something that's going to fuel me, right? Like, work was just draining me that day. And granted, I had an amazing job. Like, most days I felt fulfilled and felt like I was able to bring value to the world and work with people that I enjoyed working with. So it was not a bad job at all. But there was still this unfulfilled piece of content creation in my heart that wasn't getting filled. So that day I was just like, all right, I'm just going to pause work for now. I ended up coming back and finishing things later, but I just needed to get this off my chest. Mm-hmm. And so I filmed the ad. It took probably about an hour and a half to set up and film, because it was initially I was trying to do the here to here to here thing vertically.
Right.
And it was just so hard to meander. And maybe my hands aren't as big as I thought they were. Maybe the 12 mini's bigger. But that iPhone 5 looked so small in that guy's hands, and he was just, he must have been a basketball player or something. But I could not do some of the movements that they were doing on the Apple ad. Yeah. And so I had to reposition my whole setup to record from vertical to on the floor, basically. So I was like holding it like this, and the camera was looking down from a top-down shot. So anyway, there's a little bit of production difficulty, but that was like fueling me. Like, I was having so much fun as I was working through this, project, that I had this vision in my head, and my job was to make that vision a reality. So I've been talking for like 4 hours today.
I know. You're great. You're doing great.
Thanks. So yeah, that was kind of the moment where I was like, you know what? Creativity only strikes unpredictably. And when I don't have the time, the freedom of my time to be able to act on that creativity, it fizzles out.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to do is miss out on a creative moment. Just like this moment that we're sharing here
Yeah.
is a very, I was not even centered on the camera. So sorry to all you people who were wondering why I wasn't. See, this is so genuine and real. I forgot about the framing. But yeah, so the main impetus, that was the big word.
That was the word you used.
The impetus for going indie for me was that evening where I was like, my time is not overly valuable in a monetary sense, but from a creativity sense, time is all I have. All I have is the time to create stuff. And whether I'm creating a spreadsheet or a report for a client or a video that fuels me, I need to decide what I'm going to do with that.
Sure.
And as Randy and I were saying, maybe this whole YouTube thing does crash and burn, and maybe in, a few months we'll be looking for jobs somewhere. I think sooner for me, but even if this doesn't work out and I end up working somewhere, I don't mind. But I will be making sure that wherever I do work, I have the control over my schedule. Because when the creativity strikes, I want to be able to say, work, you are important, but you will wait until I have completed the creativity. Because at least current Nic, maybe this will change when I get a little bit more life perspective and have kids or something, but creativity is something that you cannot control. And it's just so important because it just appears sometimes. And if you don't act on it, you lose it.
Some of my favorite songs that I wrote earlier this year when I was doing that quarantine album, the instrumental album, some of my favorite songs were the ones that I wrote at night. And it was just, I was laying in bed. I was like, I got up. I'm like, man, I got this thing in my head. I can hear it, and I'm gonna go work on it. And that's when I wrote Halo, and that's when I wrote, somebody coined it and gave it a small, the Will I song, I guess is the way I call it now.
What?
The Will I Find You Again in the Next Life or whatever. But somebody used an abbreviated version. Like, I like that. Same thing. But those are my two favorite songs that I had written earlier this year. And when I wrote Halo, I had this dun 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 thing bouncing in my head, and I was like, I want to see if I can replicate the bouncing. And so, creativity hit me when I wasn't trying to do it. During the day when I woke up, I'm gonna stream and talk with the people and make some music. I was making cool stuff, and I liked the stuff that I made. But the stuff that I was like, I couldn't go to sleep until I finished it, were songs like that, where I was like, I gotta work on that. And the creativity portion for me, like I know me enough to say that I don't stop until I find this thing that's like, all right, I got a good foundation, and maybe I'll revisit later, but I don't stop until I'm satisfied for that moment. And this is where the workaholic part of me like shines through in this medium. And I never felt that way with a 9-to-5 sort of thing. I always felt that way only when I was doing something that made me feel good. And my aha moment, as we were talking, I think, I was talking with you and Drew, was after I filmed that last Moto Milton ad. And I was like, I can do this for the rest of my life. And then I was like, well, why don't I? Like, when I was having so much fun, and I got paid to make that, and I was so happy about it. It made me just like, this is when I was telling you guys before we did all that, I was telling you like storyboarding and stuff like that. That is the best example of something that I filmed in the day. It took me maybe same day, if not the next day, to edit it. But that's what I mean by the content that I want to make, where it's short, it's humorous, but it's something I love, and that's why I like your Nic shorts, because it's I know what you mean, that if I need to have an outlet where I put all this time into making something for a 3-minute song, a 2-minute ad, or whatever, but I put all this time and I love that. I want there to be a place where that exists. If anything, that is a genuine thing for me, that if no one else likes it, I'm glad that I made it.
Exactly.
And the endorphins that release in me after I see the final product, where I'm like, oh man, this is great.
And the reason why I wanted Nic Shorts on a separate channel instead of just putting it on the main channel, which a lot of the videos are currently on my personal channel.
Sure.
I don't want to have to worry about copyrights or plagiarisms type stuff. And I realize there's legal stuff, but if I ever get monetized on the personal channel, I don't want to restrict that creativity.
Yeah.
In a way, I don't care if I don't care if I ever see any money from the Nicky and Sweeney Shorts channel. I could make $0 for the rest of my life, and I still would post videos to that because that's not the value that I'm deriving from it. Okay, maybe the vlogs. I'm not the biggest vlogger right now. I've tried a couple. They're okay, I guess.
I like your vlogs.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You need to keep working on
that. Yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll hone it and get a little bit better with it and enjoy it a little bit more. But for now,
hey, you had a great jump cut that happened when you were showing your 2x thing, and you were showing here's the wall, and then immediately I saw with the shadow that you were using the stabilizer, so I know production wise you filmed something, then you turned it around, and then you started talking. No, I didn't. Well, there was a jump cut where there had to have been a couple moments. There was a pause in you talking.
Yeah, I believe I had one goof up where I had to do a second take there.
Well, no. There was something that you did where you had the camera pointing that way, and then you had the camera pointing at you. And there is a moment where you had to bring it back to you. You were using double.
I was using double take.
Oh,
so I know.
You genius.
I know. That was perfect. I had it on
because
the gimbal,
it looked so smooth when it came, and you were like, and that's how I did it.
It was so easy to edit. It was so easy to edit, Randy.
You genius.
I just had the 2 files. I exported the audio from the better sounding one, the front facing one, because that's where the mics were tuned for. and then I just cut. I had the main roll, and then I just cut between the back camera whenever I wanted it. And it took maybe that 4-minute video maybe took 20 minutes in post, including export and
you genius. All right. Well,
I know
a normal old school where you go like that and then you go like that. It's like you talked so smoothly. It felt natural. You know what it felt like for me? And here's why I like your vlogs, because it feels like the vlog. What we call vlogs when you publish something is what you show me in FaceTime anyway. So it's like I was watching you walk me through something that we talk about anyway. So watching a vlog felt like a FaceTime call with you, and it felt natural, and I like that. So keep working at it. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, thank you. But there are other projects that I'm working on that I do hope to get paid for at some point. Podcast is a great example of something that we do get paid for, and I'm very grateful for that. Because we have ads and stuff, and we have fans who enjoy it. So thank you. But the Nicky and Sweeney Shorts channel is something that I could care less if it ever got money, because the reason why I'm doing it is not for the money. A lot of the other creativity things that you're going to see me doing in the future are definitely with some kind of eventual ability to maintain a lifestyle in mind. Ability to have a tiny home, or do whatever that goal is financially, and be able to create content. And creation of the content is definitely a lot of joy and satisfaction, even making a tech podcast, which is probably the most repetitive thing that I do, as far as process wise. But there's still a lot of joy in that, but there's still another part that is the financial piece. But I think that there are always going to be those projects that I want to work on that I don't care about the money. And I think for you, Randy, even though it was an advertisement, that Moto Militant ad came across a lot like a passion project that you were probably going to do whether or not you got paid for it, because it was just that much fun for you to create.
I had the humor. I had my style of humor, at least. It was cool having the visual element, that like having Emilio here to help me record that, and he backed up when you see me have the guitar come up. Like, that was fun. The inevitable punchline that I'm stealing from Red Bull, but then I fall down and all that. Like, that was just fun, spontaneous in the moment, fun. And I would have made something like that, because those are what most of my shorts are. It's just something I had in the moment. I think my most successful little skits that I've made were the ones that were spontaneous. There's some things that are very premeditated, and they turned out okay. They turned out good, but they weren't the most successful even in engagement, because you can I don't know, when you know that I'm excited about something in the moment, it's there, it's captured, and there's a response to it. And that's why I like writing music, for example. Even even if it's music that like, okay, with Time After Ashes, when I sing on it, like when I did Halo, everyone said that was I asked, hey, out of all these songs that I did that were Time After Ashes songs, and it was like, no, Halo, because there was something, visceral about it. Where even with the Quarantine album, the ones that people respond to the most were the ones that I felt the most excited for. Not every song that I wrote made the final cut for the album because I was like, this one was a challenge. I didn't like this one. Everyone loves the NA song. Like, that is their favorite song.
Oh, yeah.
And that was pure excitement of, like, I got this new Logic update. The challenge is write a song with using only the new tools that just became updated. Most of it were just my mouth going and making the beat, and then Nic. Like, it was fun. It was genuine fun, and I found a way to, I don't know. It's this lightning in the bottle that you can't time. It just happens, and I wrote the Nic and Sweeney song in a moment that I can never replicate again, in a way that I can never reenact in a way too, because that was genuine lightning in a bottle. That is, it happened. That's its moment in time, and I can't duplicate that. I can do something different, and I probably will, but I can't do that. And things like that is a representation of all these other things that I work on or that I want to make. The stuff that is more storyboarding, like the Tesla experience.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, the Tesla experience will be more storyboard, premeditated things, because the intent of the audience there is that they want to see the car. They want the feedback of an owner, and then everything's with Tesla. You go there with a certain expectations, and I want to try to meet or exceed expectations with that. Whereas the skits are like, nobody was expecting me to do this thing, and part of my humor is shock humor, where like, oh, there's he fell off the roof, or whatever, like I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but even my shock, if it's not shock humor, shock culture, even when I made the video talking about how I got royalty screwed, like I got screwed out of something, and that was a genuine shock thing for everybody. So even if it's not a punchline shock, somebody told me that when I talk, they, for lack of a term, when I talk, they listen because I have something to say. If it's something serious, I have something to say. If it's something humorous, I have something to say, and it's gonna take you on a journey, and this ability to be a storyteller and explain something is, maybe you can teach it, I don't know, but some people are just naturally charismatic, and I think that's where my main channel will be more charismatic, whether it's in the humor, music, or whatever. You're gonna be there for a long journey ride, like streams and stuff like that. The storyboarding is information based, because I have information based stuff to present. With this case, the Tesla, this thing that I love, this thing that people are fascinated on because they can live vicariously through me. Yep. They want to know about certain things that I hope I can present in a very intimate way, where I'm in the car, say like showing full self-driving, and I have the camera with me, and I'll use the good camera, to try to capture what I felt, the way you and Drew experienced the summoning feature, and you guys were recording it.
I still haven't edited that. I still have the footage. That's on the list pretty soon.
Cool. I'm glad you have it on the list. I want to see that stuff. So things like with the Tesla, that's definitely there's an intent in the outcome of what I'm trying to do. If anything else is just to present information, whereas main channel will be more. I don't know what the right word would be. It's not in the moment, but the thing with the main channel is that you don't know what to expect when you're gonna watch a video, and that's gonna be with a new video working on really soon. It's gonna have the same thing. Like, it's gonna happen, and you're not gonna know what to expect, and that's the intent, because it's captivating. It's storytelling in a different way. Yeah, I don't know. And this is all stemming from nervousness, like anxiety. This is stemming from things that, like, we're committing to this, and what I told you, I'll just to repeat here is like I can't continue going on having what if. It's bothering me. The whole like this might not work in a couple months or a year, or maybe YouTube shuts down or something else happens or whatever, you know. If they're trying to split up Facebook right now and break them down, who knows what will happen with Google eventually. But all that to say that we can't control the changes that will happen on the platform. So if we lose the ability to continue making income and try to make a living off of this, I can't have a what if. I'd rather go out saying that I tried and it didn't work, or I tried and we became successful. But I have to say that I gave it an honest try. And leading up to this, I didn't give it an honest try. And you and I spent so much time talking about things that inspire us. And it's one thing where talk is cheap, and it's like, let's try to make it in our own way. Like your perfect cube thing. I still think about the idea of like my perfect home.
That's going to be an entire episode.
I can't wait. Not today. No, this is two. Yeah. This was 2 in the moment. We are recording day, so this was 2 in the moment. But the idea of like the perfect cube home is I think about that. I legit think about it because it's so cool. Yeah.
So, question for you. You likely saw the I Quit video that I posted.
I did.
The initial announcement of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I got a production question for you.
Okay.
What did you think of the production quality?
Yeah.
Did you like the style, the editing? Any critiques for me there?
Okay. I love the presentation of it. So it wasn't until you told, I think you said on the podcast, one of the other ones, about how it was a flat background. Like I wasn't sure how you were actually filming that because we were so used to seeing the corner.
Yeah, I think I said it on the vlog. Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was. The vlog. I watched the vlog. I'm so used to seeing the corner angle that I was like, ooh, new setup. It felt new.
Yeah.
My critique. Oh no, before my critique, because it's a good thing and a bad thing. So the good thing first. I like how seamless you're able to talk about something and then get to your next point and you don't need a cut. Like it feels more authentic in a way that's like a conversation piece. However, which I'm sure you're aware, there was a few hiccups that you had and you just kept them in there.
Yep.
If my critique of what to improve is if you're going to do that format where you're not going to cut, make sure you know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
And what you've gotten better at, you've actually gotten really good at, and maybe to just keep in mind is don't always talk so fast at certain points because that's where you tripped. Where I saw you merge 2 words or you repeated a word and you stumbled is because you're excited, and that's what happens when our adrenaline pumps. We're talking fast and we're doing these things. Sometimes you're talking faster than you think you're talking, and when you start talking slower, you're actually talking at a pace that is coherent, consistent, and audible in a way too. So if you are going to do long form, what I mean by long form is there's not going to be a cut in there, even if it's an overlay, and that's where you can sneak a cut
there were
in.
multiple cuts there. I mean, I disguised a few of them with some zoom in and
right. Oh yeah, as you should, right? It felt natural. But there were times where I knew you didn't cut, and you kept the blooper, if you will, in there, and just be mindful. I do an exercise. Here's an exercise that I do about pacing. I will say something. Sometimes I'll hit boop, record, and I'll start saying it enough times in my head out loud as it's recording. And I'm watching my playback on the monitor or on the viewfinder here or whatever. I'm saying it enough times, and then I will stop and I'll go and I'll add a little spike, so when I put in Final Cut, I know like, okay, this is my real take. And I've said it enough times in that moment that I will go through the whole thing. Because one thing I don't know, because I haven't seen you edit, is I don't know what your other takes look like. I stumble and stutter and trip over words multiple times, and I'll say the same phrase 5 times, and then I see it in live time, warp. And when I have the final take and I know what I'm going to do and I'm not going to cut, I do that. I have the spike, so when I look in the audio, I say what I say, and then if I know I'm thinking in post-production at the same time, overlay or a cut or something else.
Yeah.
That's when I'll stop and I'll catch my thought. And my focus in that moment, when I go like that, I start talking. The very first thing I do, as I was practicing with the other takes, is I make sure I have pacing. My
Yeah, my thing says pause now.
Yeah, I know, I'm back. No, I had
Okay.
interesting. Hang on a second. My sister-in-law called, but then she hung up very quickly, so I'm sure she'll text me. That's interesting. We're doing it live. We're doing it live, people. Anyway, so my advice to you is, if you're gonna go long, no cut, practice enough times, and when you know that's gonna be the take, add an indicator visually on the audio part, so you know that's the take, and rinse and repeat. I talk to the camera like I'll be like, Randy, don't use this one. Use the like I'm talking to future me, knowing that that's what's gonna be there. Randy, keep this one in here. Or if I said something and I liked it, I'll make a note, a timestamp for me. It's like that last part, capture that, because I'll forget in the moment. But when I'm in the timeline, I'm talking to timeline editor Randy, so I'll do that. Randy, ignore the last 5 that you just used. That's not good. Use this one, and then same thing. Because if I do this enough times and I still screw it up, all right, gotta do it again. So that's when I'll start talking to myself. So use you as your tool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Something that you didn't bring up, that was done in one take on a teleprompter. So I had scripted that entire video, and I went through that all in one take on the teleprompter. I didn't do a second take. Probably should have in hindsight, because I did stumble a couple times. But that was the first scripted video that I've done where I'm reading a script. I think I did a fairly good job hiding the fact that I was reading the entire time. There were a few times, and obviously as the creator, you're the biggest critique of your work. But I noticed a couple times where you could tell I was reading if you look carefully. So I was quite happy that I think it didn't come off as I was reading a script.
No,
but it had the
it came
logical
off like
flow that I was looking for.
You came off with a performance. How we're talking right now is not how you filmed it. You came off like you were. It finally happened. I did it. You know, you did the presentation voice that we all have, and it felt like you were performing. It didn't feel like you were reading.
Good. Yeah, so
that's cool. So was that because you're trying to find
excited.
Use of the teleprompter?
Well, okay, no. Yeah. So actually, I did. I say that was the one take that I did, and that was everything that I used for the video was with that one take. But that was the third attempt at the video. So the first attempt at the video, I'd done a couple weeks before, right when I decided that I was quitting, and it was sitting down at this desk, very similar format. I had a little bullet list of all of the content that I was going to make.
That was the images you were teasing, right?
That was the image that I was teasing, yeah, with me. I think I just sent you a picture. I don't think I tweeted anything publicly about that video. But
no,
yeah.
You tweeted something where you're pixelated. You pixelated.
Yeah, that was from the first episode of the Nic and Randy Show.
Oh,
where
okay.
I was wearing the Silent Hustlers t-shirt. See, I left just enough of that pixelated so you could tell I was wearing the Silent Hustlers t-shirt. So maybe someone was going to connect the dots there.
I gotta go back and take a look. Hang on.
Yeah, so that first attempt was fine. It was pretty much a one take. I mean, I think I redid a couple parts, but then I don't know. I'd finished editing it. I had a whole project in LumaFusion. I was basically just waiting to create some assets, some final logos and stuff. But I just wasn't really happy with the energy that I was bringing off, and I know that sitting brings a different kind of energy than standing.
Sure.
Just from consuming YouTube content, creators who sit, I'm sitting right now. It's long form content, but I think when you're standing, you have a little bit more energy, or you come off as you have more energy. So I wanted to try it standing, so I kind of set up the whole background and set up the whole tripod and stuff. Do you need to go, Randy?
You're right. No. I was looking for your photo.
Oh! I thought you were texting your sister.
No. It's funny because on the camera now, it doesn't look pixelated, and you could see it perfectly. But when I look, it's like it's pixelated. Yeah, okay. No, I was looking for the photo. I was like, oh, you're right. That was the first episode of this.
Yep. So anyway, the second take then was me, no script, no bullets, no nothing. And I tried for about 20 minutes of recording time, and it was not coming off well. I mean, a lot of times, once I start with a good intro and I already kind of know what I'm talking about, I'll just kind of get in that groove and I'll do a whole take, for some of the other videos that I've done. But this time, at least, I had to say things in the correct way. Like, I don't ever want to come off as ungrateful or mad about my past job. Like, I loved that job. And so, anyway, I felt like it was probably going to be better if I scripted it. And so, I'm not a big scripter, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I spent, I don't know, about an hour or so typing and got that, 5-minute script all cleaned up. And I wrote it as a conversation, which is pretty important. And then, I put it up on the teleprompter, and 8 minutes later or whatever, I had my final copy. And
did you do that because you were, for lack of better word, did you do that because you were pressed for time and you wanted editing to be easier?
No, I wasn't sure how I was going to articulate what I needed to say. And so writing it out would have been a natural next step. Writing out what I wanted to say. And then if I already had it written out, why not just put it up on the teleprompter? And sure. I think it turned out great. And honestly, it was so good that I think for the Nic Picks videos, I'm considering doing scripted videos for those. Because you're right. It was pretty simple on the editing side.
No, I'm not saying simple as in like you're finding it easy. Like, anything to help the production flow. Look how we do this now. With this is way simpler, and I don't ever want to go back to any other way because this works. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And
we're just going to find a way to improve it down the road.
Exactly. So
I have a few questions for you.
I appreciate that feedback there. Yeah, and I think I will be doing some more scripted content because I want to experiment with it more, see if I can get better at it.
Practice, man.
I think definitely timing, but the thing that I really hate with teleprompters is when you can tell people are reading, and I feel like I did a fairly good job.
I could not tell,
and so I'm pretty happy that at least you couldn't tell I was reading it.
Not at all.
And so
I have questions for you.
Go ahead.
Give me a second. I'm going to my subscription fee. Okay. All right. The Nic and Randy Show is this one.
Yes.
I feel pretty confident. Before I say anything, and I know we talked about it, I just got to say here, I love all the little icons that you've created. I do.
Thank you.
I love them. That's it. Enough said. I love them. So, are you changing Actually, here's an improv question. I wasn't even going to ask you this question, but I'm looking at Nic and Sweeney, just the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Are you changing that profile from that one to the NA?
I haven't quite decided yet. The official logo, so that NA that you saw in the I Quit video, it's like an H with a cross and like anyway, you can see it in that video. That's my seal or signet or whatever.
I love it. It looks so
my personal logo.
And it's gold. And it looks very Trump Tower or something. Not in a political way, but you know what I mean. Like it looks like it's supposed to be a brand. It looks like it belongs in a hotel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the way you did your N with the two lines right there that connect it and all just the font that you went with. Okay.
So it's go into a little bit deeper on that.
Okay.
It's actually my initials. So my middle name is a couple middle names. One of them's an A, and one of them starts with an H. And so my initials are NAAH is my full initials. And using that one logo, all of my initials are in there. The A's are the cross over, what's that? The diagonal little slash on the N. And there are two of them because one's inverted, and they all make up an H. So it's all of my initials, and that's why it's my. And when people ask me to initial something or whatever, I don't use NA. I pretty much draw that with a little bit of a flair, because it's just a little personal signet that I have.
Okay.
So anyway, the question is that going to become the new?
That's not my. I have a set of questions for you, but that was an improv one. Is that going to be the channel one? You haven't decided yet. I'm asking.
Yeah, I haven't decided
Okay.
yet. No.
All right, so here are my questions.
I like that picture you took of me.
It's a good photo, man. I like it. I like it. I do like it. If that's gonna be you, I can make an argument for both cases. I think that one should be a face one because it's the only one that's a face one, and that's the only one that has your full name. But I also like your seal, but the seal could be used for other purposes and stuff. So
Exactly.
all right, could you? Here, I'll tell you. I'll make it all one question. Of all the things that you announced yesterday, can you go very quickly and explain the expectation in regards to, like, for example, Nic picks. My question is not you told me what they're going to be. My question is the actual production side. I have questions about Nick Shorts. I know that's going to be very production right there. I'm assuming and Sweeney Live will just be a sit down live stream. Nic picks is what's the, like, can you go Talos of Space, all the ones that you announced yesterday. My question is, can you go through each one and explain how you're going to do the production of those ones, if you know the answer to those yet, and if things are up in the air, that's fine too. To include the main Nic and Sweeney, which you said might be vlog like, but my overall question is, can you go through each of the stuff you announced yesterday,
of course,
and explain how you're going to do the production side of it, how you're going to produce them?
Yeah. So I'll just go down the list here. The Nic and Sweeney YouTube account is going to have the two things, vlogs and personal updates. I really like that background for personal updates. As I said in that most recent vlog, I'm painting my room a different color, which will help with the office lighting and stuff. And so, anyway, for personal updates and kind of more like important stuff, it'll be that same format you see there, with probably a white background and purple, pink lights, something. Use that occasionally for important things. Vlogs, I really am happy I used Double Take yesterday. That sped up the production time, and it was so simple to use, although the video quality was garbage. So hopefully no one could tell on YouTube because, compression or whatever, but it was pretty bad on the iPad when I was editing it. So I noticed, in hindsight, I noticed I had like some smudges on the camera, so I need to clean my cameras first. As far as the vlogs that I want to make, obviously I'm going to see you in a couple days, so I'll probably make a little travel vlog.
Let's do it.
And, any interesting things that happen, any things that I need to say to the world, kind of like treat it like Drew does. He does his vlogs. Sometimes they're things he wants to talk about, sometimes it's a vacation, sometimes it's an activity that he's doing. Just kind of keep that little free form and just leave that to update people. Talos of podcasts, obviously, for all of our podcasts, we're recording in OBS. You and Drew record in OBS. I actually record on the camera and in OBS, just in case. And I edit those in LumaFusion and upload those to YouTube. I think I've been through that production process enough to have everyone know what happens there.
Yeah.
So actually, I didn't mention this on the video, but I've talked with you about this, Randy. The Talos of Space videos.
Yes.
Which are going to be edited videos. I will be doing the podcast with DJ still, and that'll be the same OBS setup, I'm sure. But I do want to make like edited space news videos. I love that kind of content. I watch quite a bit of it, and I think it's something that I can do fairly easily, as far as pulling together space news, writing together a little script, and then.
If I may ask, is that like the example you gave in the link where it went to you talking about Starlink?
Somewhat, yes.
Because that was an edited video.
That was kind of more topical. Yeah, that was an edited video, and that was actually a really old one. So please don't click on the link.
No, that was a good video. I watched it.
No, I rewatched it the other day, and I was like, "Ah, damn, Nick, you did good with an iPhone in 2019. Good job."
Yeah, that was a good video. I liked it.
Yeah, so that's kind of more of a topical. Talking about Starlink, which I wouldn't mind doing on the Talos of Space, but I would like to do more regular type, like weekly news updates. Sure. There's tons of stuff happening in the space world, whether that's launches of satellites, updates
So when you say edited show, are you saying like, are you going to show mostly B-roll and narrate over it? Or are you going to sit at a table? Like, what do you mean by an edited show then?
Yeah, so I'm thinking it'll be scripted, so I'll script something up similar to what I did here, a 5-8 minute script somewhere in there of the space news, important, you know, news items, any kind of discoveries or, interesting things that I would want to know about. And then I'll be putting that into the teleprompter, probably doing a single, one or two takes maybe of 4K at 30. When I'm doing 4K at 30, I'm always watching the seconds because it's like, gigabytes per minutes.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I'll probably do talking head style. I really like this, that setup that I had with the lighting and stuff for the I Quit video. But since I'm going to be changing the wall color, I'll have a lot more control over the background. So I can actually move in like a dresser or something in the background and put like little props. Like I have this little Starship model, and I have like a little SpaceX 0G indicator earthy guy, which I'll put in the background and kind of spruce it up a little. And then yeah, definitely some B-roll and news articles, clippings, and stuff go on top of it. And that the idea for that is a weekly show, probably going up on Thursdays is my current guess, but that's not finalized at the moment. Talos of movies, I do want to do some stuff there, and Drew's made me more than welcome to post whatever I want to up there if I make it. I've done some of the Talos of movie podcasts before, and I do enjoy that 10-minute style talking about something, but I think I was rambling a little bit and I wasn't quite organized enough in those podcasts, because I basically just watch the movie and talk about it for 5-10 minutes, which isn't quite as organized as I'd like it to be. So I would like to kind of do some more bulleted items with that, and I kind of like the videos where they just show like screenshots of the movie and kind of do like a Kinsburn into the screenshots, and rotating through different screenshots of what you're talking about. That would get a way that would help it be monetizable, not have Universal running after us. And so anyway, that's the kind of idea there. That's the least fleshed out of all these plans, though, the Talos of movie stuff. I know I want to do some stuff there eventually, but I don't know exactly what that's going to look like and stuff.
Okay.
So then, sorry, clear my throat here.
I'll stop making you talk shortly, I promise.
Thank you. Appreciate that. My poor tongue. It's still a lot of work. My tongue is getting some exercise. So the new accounts. Hey, keep your mind out of the gutter, dude.
I can't. It's impossible. I am but a boy.
So the accounts that I did start, Nick Picks, is probably the one that I'm most excited about. Actually, it is the one I'm most excited about. I
know. It was your one more thing. That's when I knew that was your favorite one.
It was my one more thing. I love photography. I love to make incredible content that people enjoy.
Why are we repeating it? You already did it. You capsulized it. You're good.
Yeah. So, the content there is likely going to be that same. I do like the standing up style. So the thing is, maybe I need to make a whole vlog about this or mention it sometime. I have a ceiling fan right here, and I'm touching the ceiling fan. So basically, if I stand up right here, my head will crash into the ceiling fan, which means that any
no, I don't got that problem.
I know, yeah, lucky duck, I've noticed.
Is your roof shorter than mine, or your ceiling?
It's 8 feet, but I'm 11 and a half feet tall, so I don't fit.
So in my office, if you just went like this, you would have been able to touch my ceiling or my ceiling fan.
Of course, yes. I probably could touch it with my elbow when I'm
actually
in there.
You have, yeah. You're pretty tall.
I think you have an 8-foot ceiling, like I do.
That's the common one, right? The standard one.
Yeah. Mine's 8 foot, I think, within an inch or two. But anyway, all that to say, I can't have the camera at this angle and be standing up at the same time, because that would be in the frame. But I really do like using this wall as a background. Sure. And so I think for the photography stuff, I want it just a nice neutral white, possibly bordering on that infinity white. When you see like the Apple get a PC ad, or Get a Mac ad.
Wow.
Mac.
Wow.
Can you tell I've been talking for 4.5 hours today?
You're almost done.
I know. We're almost done here. So we got that. I kind of want to have like a white neutral background. And that's the Nic Picks videos will be my highest production value videos that I want to make. I'm going to be extremely picky about everything because I am a photographer and I nitpick when other people make errors in their videos, whether it's a poor lighting choice or, incorrect facts or, whatever. I want this to be something that other photographers look at and say, hey, that kid knows what he's talking about. So, that's the goal there.
All right.
With Nic Picks. All right, so then we got, let's see, we got the clips, Talos of Podcast clips. There's no production difference there. I just cut it out of the show and Luma
Just taking
Fusion
highlights
before I export it. Yep. Ann Sweeney shorts. That definitely varies from project to project, but I'll make sure to make people aware as we go. Nic and Randy Show, obviously recorded in OBS. Ann Sweeney Live is live streamed in OBS with this camera, likely at this angle with the pink background, I think. I think that's it. Okay. I'm done talking now. Your turn.
My turn. I like it. I like. Here's why I like it, and I think why you got to look at these channels that you're making as like living entities as well, that are subject to grow and change based off of the needs of where you're at that point. And what I like about what you're doing is you're trying out all of them to see what sticks. You know what I mean? You're gonna this one has more attention as well. And something that you brought up that I think is fair, and the reason why I made another channel, the behind the scenes channel one, was because I don't care about copyright. I don't care if that one ever gets monetized. Mm-hmm. So things that I can be more risky about in the production part will go there. And to whereas like the podcasts are meant to be like rated E for everybody, family friendly, and my some of the other stuff can be more like us, like not mature audience where I'm just going to talk about explicit content, but more just like it's different. There's something for everybody, and likewise with you, that's what this is in the production side of things, where you will have this is dedicated, edited video essays. This is going to be free form, maybe one take scripted. Yep. This is going to be live stream. This is OBS. Another form of live stream. You'll have short form content. You have long form content. I think you're hitting all areas of it. And you're also working on things that I don't want to talk about out loud, only because I know that the mic is on, but you're working on some production skills that, I trust will be implemented in some of your stuff that's going to enhance the quality of that stuff. And I can't wait to see the execution of that stuff as well, and how you grow those skill sets. So it's good, because right now you're staying hungry for more, as you should.
I'm also definitely staying foolish.
Stay hungry, stay foolish. Yeah.
The challenge to create on iPad has been lots of fun, and it is still the fastest device that I own that I can create content on.
Sure.
My computer is at a Geekbench, and my computer's multi-core is like 1700, and the iPad's is 5,000 or something. So it makes sense to do the majority of the work on the iPad. But now that I am doing this full time, I am experimenting with some more Pro Tools on the Mac, and I'm excited. At some point, you need to show me how to use Logic, because I would like to. I don't naturally have much of a rhythm, but I'm sure I could figure it out. And yeah, there's a lot of tools that I didn't realize there was. Part of it's a challenge, right? Like on the iPad, I was always challenging myself. How can I do this on an iPad? I know you can do big budget stuff with a big budget on big fancy, but what can you do on an iPad? And I think I've shown you can do a lot of stuff with an iPad. everything so far, really, that anyone's seen, with the exception of the intro to the Nic picks on that one welcome video that's been seen by 20 people, has been done all on the iPad. So there's that aspect of it, but I think as I get a little bit more serious about this, I'm gonna start, I'm looking at the Mac Mini fairly strongly, just
Same.
because it can get the performance for like the lowest price ever, and it's never going to be this good for price to performance entry level.
The only
stuff.
thing that you need to get with the Mac Mini is a SD card reader.
I have that. I've been
Then
playing
you're
with
set.
it.
Well, I know, but what I meant is that,
Yeah.
like, as opposed to
That's the I/O that doesn't come with. Yeah.
the MacBook, you don't have an HDMI because you'll need a monitor. You don't have all these other.
Yeah. I have my dock. I'm just gonna plug the Mac Mini into my dock. Did I mention I have a dock, guys? It's awesome.
You showed it on the show.
I know I have. I talk
Did
about
you?
my dock all the time.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sure I do.
You got a Nick's
Nick's
dock. Nick's dock. Yeah, we've been recording for a long time. It's not that I don't have the high stamina energy, but I also feel like sometimes
I think we do have high stamina energy, but it's okay right now for us not to have high stamina energy because we've been going at this for a long time, and it's just so hard to keep going and going and going, and eventually I'm just gonna have to pull out and say I had enough. Randy, what is up with you?
No.
Mind out of the gutter, dude.
People, this little good Christian boy mentality that these people think you are don't know you, and saying stuff like that, provoking reactions. You close that mouth. Don't you go, me? Don't you dare. Anyway.
Yeah.
So.
How about you? What are you planning?
That's the thing. Like I to be as candid as possible and honest as well, is I have ideas. It's not that I don't feel comfortable sharing them. It's just they've already changed twice this week about how I want to execute, and what I can say what will happen is I will be focusing a lot on Tesla, because it's the most viable channel. It's the most viewed of videos on there, and I like talking about my fear, not my paranoia, but my fear with the Tesla channel is I'm scared I'll run out of things to talk about. But what
Really?
got me where I am with that channel was me expressing what I, calling it the Tesla experience was sharing my experience with it. And as long as I do that, I always have something to say. So it's not as, I'm not scared of losing ideas with that channel as I would be with others, because it's also information based, like I was saying. Whereas like when I'm going to write music, sometimes I'm just not in the mood to write music. I haven't really been in the mood to write music because I've been so stressed about, stepping down from this job with the government and just us moving or figure out where we're going. And I got family issues that are going on right now, which is all stress. I just don't feel like I'm not in the mood, and
Well, sometimes it's okay just to rest.
yeah. So I'm going to use this.
I think it's pretty important.
I am going to rest. The reason why I'm not resting this exact moment is because this isn't hard. Like this, I'm on a FaceTime call with you. I talk about this stuff with or without the mic recording. So it's that. If anything, this is therapy session, and you guys are all just eavesdropping in on a very intimate
I
conversation.
think maybe at some point we just need to do this like The Office and just ignore the camera, and then for comedic effect, maybe once or twice during the show, we just like look at the camera like
do that,
guilty
and then it pans
Jim
in.
Hamill.
Yeah, it just like in different angles. I'm just over here. But
Just
no,
do
so I'm not worried about running out of ideas with Tesla because it's information based, and there'll always be new information to share. Where the other ones will be more about me. It's resting on me. So, but the channel.
And what's the
Tesla
other one?
The
Randy Vasquez.
Yeah.
Musician one. Okay.
I mean that one. don't want to say too much because there's something that I've been kind of like working on. Not this video that I'm talking about, but like music wise, it's something that I'm working on, but I haven't been able to sit down and just. I do. You know how we talk about challenges and stuff like that? I've always given myself challenges, and one of them was when I did the live streams and stuff was, can I get this done in a stream? And for the most part, what you heard is what the final product was. There was a few exceptions to some of them. Some of them didn't make the cut. Some of them I turned into Time After Ashes songs. So it was like, okay, that's just part of the process. But I would say that I have some ideas that I want to try to do sooner rather than later, and I guess what I don't have is I don't have a set schedule. What I do have is I know I'm gonna live stream Wednesdays.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna do the Hump Day show, and the Hump Day show will be much. When I first did it, there was no streaming. YouTube didn't stream.
Yeah, YouTube couldn't stream. Yeah.
Not in 2013. It wasn't until shortly afterwards that they started. But even then there was limitation. It was very new. But now it's going to be a live show, and I want there to be I guess what I'm trying to figure out is I need to make sure there's a differentiating. Why can't I say it? We've been streaming we've been doing this too long. I can't even talk now.
You started at what, 10 o'clock, and it's now 4 o'clock?
Differentiating.
We've been at podcast for...
I want there to be a difference between live streams and a live show.
Yeah.
A live show will most likely not have much, if any, interaction. Whereas, like this, if we did this live and I was still doing it this would not be a live show. Streaming is in the moment, engaged, I'm talking with people. The Hump Day show will be a live show.
Okay.
The music streaming will be streaming, live feedback, and it drives the conversation, and it drives that episode forward. Yeah. Yes, that's the difference. The Wednesday will be a show where people can watch it live or they can watch it afterwards, and it doesn't change anything. And the example I've used was like, think Steven Crowder, think Philip DeFranco, think of these people who cover news as a show. Mm-hmm. I just want to make it my own and be more, I want to incorporate the creativeness that I did with like doing Moto Militant, stuff like that. I want to incorporate in this. We're now
live, like little segments and stuff.
It's a show. It's meant to be entertaining. Doesn't mean it's going to go for an hour or 2 hours. It might go for 30 minutes. I don't know. Yeah. But it's meant to be a show. Live in the moment, because sometimes people want to... It's my version of giving you live TV. And then you can go back and watch it later if you want. And if I was to watch live TV in the moment, what are things that I'm interested in? Live TV in the moment that doesn't involve much interaction. There's the stuff that I would watch is like music. You know, I like watching how somebody writes music. But I can't do that if I'm going to write music in a live stream, because a live stream is I'm going to work with the audience and stuff like that. But not, also to be fair, not every song I make is going to be done on a live stream. I will continue making Time After Ashes songs that I don't share that creative process, because I do things completely different. Whereas like if it's going to go on the Randy Vasquez artist page of music streaming and stuff like that, it's more like we're having fun. It's just there's two different vibes, you know. Time After Ashes, I'm always telling a story, and it's normally a lot more. It's just different. Whereas the other stuff is like we're having fun, and it's poppy, and you suck, Nick, and da 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 da, and all that stuff, right? Like they're two different things. I take them both seriously for different one. One is just more traditional, and the other one's more experimental. And I like the experimental stuff. And with experimental means I'm going to engage with the audience. Whereas like if I'm writing other songs, like legit songs, or if I'm scoring, another thing is like if I'm writing music for other people, I'm probably not going to live stream it, because I don't want their feedback. It's I want to respect the time I'm giving the person I'm writing music for. They deserve my time, and I don't want to, you know, ha ha ha. But then I'll tell you one idea that I have. Maybe eventually I'll go back on the main channel and then show how I wrote that music. I'll do track breakdowns, break down the stems and show you what I did and stuff like that. That's something that I'll be doing on that channel to show, you know, the artistic insight. Not just the technical part, which I will do. I'll also show artistic insight of why I do these things. People like the people who tell me that they like my songs. They don't know how to describe it sometimes, but I know why they like my songs, and I'm gonna show insight as to why they like the song, and I can get technical about it, and then also I can show the human emotional provoking emotion attachment to it. So things like that. And then the Randy Behind the Scenes channel, it will be my vlog, my whatever, my experimental page of sorts, and I will be renaming it. And I don't know if I said it out loud on here, so I'm not going to say it here, but I will be renaming the Behind the Scenes one to something else that fits, that just kind of meets there's more cohesiveness with some of the other channels. The podcasts are the podcasts. This will be this. So all that stuff will kind of remain the same. It is my hope that and I think you'll agree with, for you too, it is my hope that I transcend beyond just making podcast money, that I can be an overall, it's entertainment as a whole. And if I can do that well enough to where there's interest, then it will transcend beyond YouTube. I will go to Twitch for some of these things that will coexist. Some people want me to stream to both. I want to be in the business of giving you the choice of making you what you want to do. I don't want to force people to do something, but I also want to be ready to be very flexible. One thing that I'm learning in 2020, two things that I've learned very well is patience and being flexible. Yes. I thought I had patience before. No. Now I'm learning new patience. I'm getting new patience, and I'm learning to be very flexible. As long as I remember those two principles, I'm hoping that I don't experience creator burnout, and I don't feel like I'm wasting my time or anyone else's time. And it's obviously in the hope and the intent of to grow. If I just keep doing this and there's no growth, I need to change something, because at the end of the day, it's going indie. It is a business, and part of the business is that I need it to be financially viable. Otherwise, if I'm not wasting anyone else's time, I'm wasting my family's time. I'm not being a good provider, and that's where my motivation lies. I want to be able to be a provider in a different aspect, and not waste time. Period. Yours, mine, my wife's, my friends, the viewers. I don't want to waste time. So that's my
only have so much.
It's the most valuable asset, and I'm not giving it to anybody else anymore. From now on, I'm doing it my way, going out on my terms,
brother. Yeah. Oof.
I think on that note, I mean, we can wrap it up here.
I think I want some dinner at this point. It is now.
You know how long we've been streaming? It is dark outside. I see you're outside, isn't it?
It is pitch black outside.
We've been going too long.
It's been pitch black for an hour and.
I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to say anything, but I was like, "Oh, it's dark out there." I see is reflection. But we had to capture our thoughts right here in the moment. These might be long version vlogs. I don't know, journal entries, if you will, that I can come back and
journal entry. Ooh, that's a good title for each of these episodes. Journal entry 1.
There you go.
Journal entry 2.
There you go. Came up with that on the spot.
All right. I think on that note, I'm gonna hit end record. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye guys.